Hey guys, Zero here with a Path of Exile video. It's Discharge Build, Take 2. So I promised a bunch of people I would come out with a new video on the Discharger build after all the new updates that the game went through. And well, here I am, delivering on said promises. This is pretty much the same exact build as Kripp's new Discharge build, which he showed off a couple of weeks ago, like in early November, but with a lot more average player in mind. In the description, you'll find Kripp's build and my own personal one. I modified his build just a little bit. I went down and took Diamond Flesh, which is just 1 point away, and it gives you 12% resist all. This is going to give you a little bit more survivability, which you're definitely going to need. As an experiment, I also take Elemental Equilibrium, where Kripp doesn't, which I'll go over in detail why I do this, just in a little bit. So here's what's changed. You can no longer double cast Enduring Cry to build your endurance charges really quickly. The build is now life-based, and there's a new way to cast curses. The build is still a fire discharge, and this time around it's exclusively fire, so no lightning, no ice. You'll still need a Searing Touch staff, where you link Discharge to Chance to Ignite, Elemental Proliferation, Life Leech, Fire Penetration, and Burning Damage. Of these skills, you can initially forego the last two, so a 4-link staff will get you by, but by the end you really want to get at least a 5-link, if not the 6-link. The curses are applied using cast when damage taken. The curses you will be using are Elemental Weakness, Flammability, and Warlord's Mark. Basically, you run into a pack of monsters, you use Enduring Cry to gain charges, and you cast Shock Nova once or twice to shock stack mobs. If you have the talent Elemental Equilibrium, this will decrease the mob's resist to fire by 50%. The curses, plus this resistance drop, plus the fire penetration, all mean that the mob will have nearly no resists, if any at all, when you hit it with Discharge. As you might have figured out by the name of the gem, you don't actually cast the curses yourself. As it says, you cast those curses automatically when you take damage. The concept is that when you're casting Shock Nova and Enduring Cry, you're being hit by monsters, and this procs the curses. Oh, did I not mention that the curses are actually cast for no mana? Pretty damn sweet. One thing to note is that cast when damage taken needs to remain a level 1 gem. The reason being is that the higher level the gem is, the more damage you need to absorb before it procs. The drawback here is that you can only support gems with a required level of 31. This is the level requirement of the gem, not the level of the gem. This means that our curses cannot be a gem level of above 5. If they become level 6, they will no longer be allowed to proc until you actually level cast when damage taken, which you don't want to do because you need to take more damage if you do. Now, if you've been paying attention, you will notice that we're casting 3 curses, but we did not get the skill to actually cast 3 curses. Here's where the build gets even more expensive than it already is. You will need to get a hold of 2 items that give you 1 additional curse. These 2 items are the Boots Windscream and the Ring Doter's Damning, however you actually pronounce that. So if you want, you can get 2 rings or 1 ring and a pair of boots. I personally opted for the boots because they have armor and rings are fairly hard to find, plus you lose a lot of stats on the ring, especially resists. Now, apart from these items and the gems, check the description for all you need, you will also be going for armor, life, and resists. All the damage comes from the spec, the staff, and the curses. So basically, you really want to splurge on the staff. Kripp also uses a leveled cast when damage taken gem linked to Molten Shell, Life Leech, and Devouring Totem. He does this to gain a little bit more life and a little bit more defenses while on the go, even if it procs a lot less. You really don't need them, but you might as well have them as standalone gems just to cast in bad situations. So now you have the staff, a bunch of supported gems, few curses, and now you're probably asking yourself, how will I go about leveling this spec? Well, you can do the sensible thing and level via Freeze Pulse or Spectral Throw, but fuck that, it's time to burn some shit. Actually, you're going to have to wait until level 24 at a bare minimum, as Discharge and Elemental Proliferation become available at that level. But you really should wait until level 31, because at that level, a lot of the supporting gems become available. So you don't get to burn stuff from the get-go, but once you do, there's no stopping you. Before I show you where to go on the talent tree as you level, let's talk a little bit about the gems and quality gems. As always, quality gems are nicer, but you don't have to go out of your way to get them, especially at first. You can wait until you're level 70 and then just go off and farm them, buy them, do whatever. Naturally, if you have some, use them from the get-go. Elemental weakness is really the only one that you kinda shoulda really have. This is because it will increase the elemental reduction on mobs by up to 10% more reduction for a 20 quality gem. The other support gems, including Discharge, which will have a greater area of effect with quality, will be nice to have, but not critical. Naturally, the higher quality, the better damage you're going to be doing. Alright, talent tree time. Sorry in advance for the quality audio, but I took it with a different mic and it came out kind of crappy. Sorry. So, as far as the spec goes, you want to start and just put all your points into these very juicy little talents that increase your damage. And of course, you're going to grab a whole bunch of life and keep on going. And you kind of want to make a beeline for your fire damage, which is up here. Start that. And then continue up to take the electrical damage, static blows, and the chance to shock. You might want to get this life and especially chaos resist fairly early on, so you don't have to deal with coming back here. But you can do whatever you want. You can then go back to getting life and so forth. There's a life node over here that we'll get later, as well as this endurance charge. But for the moment, you really don't need that too much. So just keep on going down. As you're going down, if you see that you need mana, these talent tree spec points here, thingy dingies, are pretty amazing because they give you life and mana. You might want to get elemental equilibrium early on. You might want to hold off. I'll just put it in so I don't forget. Keep on going down, keep on going down. Here you can go the long route and get a lot of life, or the short route. I prefer the short route. You will eventually come back and take them all, including this one. I'll take the short route just because I need to get down here and get unwavering stance. Just because if you get stunned in a pack of mobs, you're pretty much dead. So you really want that as soon as possible. You go here, blah blah blah, and yoink. And now you can go back into here, get a lot of armor, come down here, get the extra endurance charge, and here you can take Vault Pack, but you don't really want Vault Pack when you're like 50 or 60. You want to get it like 70s or 80s, just because you need to have good gear and your specs all figured out to be able to live through anything that the game throws at you until you discharge, and that's where you get pretty much all of your life back. So you go here, you grab that, you want Diamond Flesh because it's going to help you just keep on top of those resists. Go up, oops, my bad, come in through here, and then also go through here and get the mana. And pretty much that is the main thing. Then you can go back and get a lot of the life, a lot of the other stuff. Like for example, there's life nodes all over the place. There's also a couple of like damage nodes and life nodes here. Like Kripp gets these two. I swap them out for these two, which I think are actually better because these are just 6% life, and the physical damage is absolutely useless. You don't use swords, you don't use physical damage. There's more life to be had up here, so in theory you can go all the way across, get these life nodes. These are 8%, so they're not bad. But pretty much after you get the core of Unwavering Stance, mana flows, the extra vigor here and the extra vigor up where you started, and I really believe Diamond Flesh should be there. After you get all those, you're pretty much on your own. You can do whatever you want. You can come back here and grab all that life. And, you know, the more life you have, the bigger buffer you have, and the less dying you will do. But it is up to you. There are not really a lot of points where you can put in for damage. Damage is mainly done by the staff, the skills, the curses, and how they all play together. How the damage of the explosion bolsters the fire damage, which bolsters the burning damage, and pretty much everything. If it doesn't explode, it will burn, and then pretty much burn to death. So once again, when you have most of the skills and gear in place, you just run into a pack, shock, shock stack, Enduring Cry, Discharge. You can cast Devouring Totem or Molten Shell anytime you want, or you can link it up with Cast 1 Damage Taken and see how that treats you. Good luck finding 2 Cast 1 Damage Taken gems. Oh, did I not mention? It is awarded by the last quest in Merciless. Have fun. Let me know if you have any questions. Leave them in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer them all. Take care, and happy discharging once again.